5-second impression of a snapping turtle coming out of its shell. Did I mess up my hair? Nope.
Yeah, so that's not real. That was a made-up, fake artificial intelligence thing of Tom Cruise. The battle for reality is unbelievable. People are not going to be able to know what's real and what's not. We have a tough enough time with it as it is. Luke Avery is here. His YouTube channel is Lambda Bible Studies. Please follow that. Luke, how are you, sir? Wonderful to talk to you.
Yeah, really excited to be here. It's a very prescient topic, isn't it?
I'd say the most. I think it's the most important for the next maybe decade or so. Is it's going to permeate everything, including the church. So I need to get a Christian biblical perspective on this. From a worldview perspective, how should Christians view artificial intelligence?
Yeah, I think there are some worries that are perfectly founded, and it's understandable that Christians should be concerned about it. There's other things that Christians, I think, uniquely don't need to worry about. There are some concerns about AI replacing humans, and there's things I believe that God has created in us that's impossible for us to replicate. In a way, artificial intelligence is teaching us more about what it means to be human. So it's very interesting to think about.
Yeah, that's good. I love the optimistic take on it. Speak more to that.
Yeah.
How can it teach us how to be more human? Because I'm definitely on the dystopian side right now, and I don't want to be. So how can it teach us to be more human?
Yeah, I've made that my mission a little bit recently to try to find the light. You know, every cloud has that silver lining. And I think one of the interesting effects of AI is that people feel threatened in their humanity. And it's interesting to think if artificial intelligence is the same as humanity, it really just means humanity equals intelligence. But there's more to us than just our intelligence. And by understanding the difference between talking to a chatbot, for example, and talking to a real person, real flesh and blood, I think we understand that God's made us more than just calculating, processing machines. And, you know, it should drive us to appreciate real human connections over whatever synthetic, artificial things that we might interact with.
100%. It should. And I always say real life's better than fake life. But I don't think it does. I don't think Elon Musk said, you know, we're already part cyborg. We're already connected to our phones. And I think our phones have robbed us of humanity and relationships and all the rest. So I don't see why just this on like fentanyl times 1,000 with artificial intelligence, we'd be any wiser about it, you know? I'm sorry, I'm just going to keep being negative to you.
No, I think that's good, because these are the negative thoughts all of us are having going through our head, confronted with this new technology. And I guess in a sense we're confronted with two paths. Do we go down the route, the very tempting route of artificial reality, you know, the things that are like artificial foods that are fundamentally not nutritious, but are so convenient, seem so powerful and alluring, but is a dark path. I'd like to think that as the technology becomes more obviously dystopian, actually it will push people to realize the significance to take another path consciously and move away from that. So whereas we're approaching a point where we can replicate to a large degree human interaction digitally, we'll never get to a point where it's a healthy replacement. And I actually want it to be that trigger for people to say, I need to invest in my actual family, my actual friends, and, you know, get out of that digital box.
Yes, in ways it's already done that to me. The worse things get, the more obvious it is to reject. And I hope people choose that. Let's talk about the soul. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is kind of my thinking with this. A lot of atheists, we were talking about Silicon Valley people, they believe evolution and we're all about the brain. And we're just like chemical reactions in the brain, and that's all that matters. So we're going to like replicate the brain forever in an artificial intelligence. But the Christians understand there's a soul. There's more to life than just your brain. But people don't use that language. We don't talk about the soul anymore, even though this artificial intelligence is soulless. Can you give me some more words to understand these important concepts?
Yeah, a lot of the experts in artificial intelligence, the people who've been ringing the alarm bells, fundamentally have a belief set that comes out of the Enlightenment, where they truly believe that humanity and consciousness and emotions and all of these things are nothing but the collision of particles creating emergent properties. As Christians, I think we can push back on that and say, not only is that intuitively ridiculous, but actually we believe that the reason that we have this unique experience of conscious experience is because we're made in the image of God. And so, although, well, this is the fear, I guess, that they say, well, you're only a brain, and a brain is just processing, so we can create that in silicon. And there's no reason that we couldn't recreate a human. We just need smarter computers. I think as Christians, we've got reason to say, actually, no, the brain is not just a processing machine that produces humanity, but we have the breath of life breathed into us by God. And there's something divine. There's a whole spiritual realm that is fundamentally, philosophically, at a deep level, different from what can be created in silicon on a computer.
If we can tap into that, it's a whole new level of truth and wisdom that people won't have. I lament that.
It's been one of the ways that the devil has lied to us for, however many hundred years into thinking that we live in this kind of soulless box. So once again, to be the voice of optimism here, that lie, I think, will start to unfold. Will probably be replaced by another lie of some sort, and maybe we will get more dark spiritual attacks. But at least I think people are starting to, in a sense, their fear about AI comes from a deep, unsettling feeling that they've been lied to, and that they're starting to uncover that lie for themselves.
I got to bring up Neil Postman in every segment now, so I got to bring it to you. Our last guest mentioned, Neil Postman said something like, the problems of humanity can't be solved with technological solutions. Can you speak to that?
Think about the book of Ecclesiastes, which says that there is nothing new under the sun. Is there anything of which it can be said, this did not previously exist? It did exist in the ages before, and it will exist again. And I really do believe that's true. People think that there are new problems created by social media. They're actually just the same old problems that society has always had. Maybe they're superpowered, but the same core reality of human existence is pretty much continuous. I mean, that's why we read ancient literature and it feels so fresh and up to date, because the realities of human experience are the same. So to some degree, even though challenges will arise, perhaps AI will lead to people losing their jobs. Perhaps AI will lead to increased governmental totalitarian control. These are all legitimate issues for Christians to fear. But we do know that deep down, our contentment should come from Christ. We know that God is in control of all of reality, and he will inevitably bring about his victory in the end. I was actually just reading earlier today about Jesus talking about the end times in the book of Matthew, and he was talking about there's wars and rumors of wars and all of these terrifying things. Then he actually says there's no, don't be troubled by it, for these things must come to pass. And in a sense, in the big, scary, unknown future with all this AI, I think that's the attitude that we should have, that we shouldn't let our hearts be troubled. Who can add an hour to his life by worrying, right? But actually, God's got all of this. He's not taken by surprise by this new technology. He'll bring good out of it.
No, that's true. We must believe it's true. My last question for you, to go back to the soul, the uncanny valley. So for those who don't know, it's the idea that when you look at a mannequin or something, it looks real, everything looks real, but something about the eyes. They can't quite get the eyes right. But they're getting the eyes right, Luke, like that clip we played, right? They're starting to, And I've seen like
It's a
AI
valley. You
people.
can go up the other end, yeah.
Exactly, right? And there's like AI art. So like they'll just type in like draw a painting and it'll be like a painting. And it's like pretty good. Like they're getting better and better. But here's what I'm saying. I still want there to be an uneasiness in me. I still want to be able to look at an artificial thing and say that's not real, that's not right. But I'm worried it's going to get so good and I'm going to get so desensitized to it that I'm not even going to know the difference. And then the worst thing is you don't even really care. Can you give me some advice on that?
Yeah, I guess in terms of the recognition, never discount how incredible we are at pattern recognition. Early CGI to us is extremely quick. We can detect it in the flash of an eye, right? But at the time, the audiences were wowed. So I actually think we will get better at picking out what the AI is doing and spotting it.
Smart.
That uncanny valley effect, actually we will become more sophisticated and the valley becomes harder to cross. The other thing I wanted to mention was that we are in the image of God. And in a sense, the things that we create are always in the image of us. It's an image of an image. And like a series of photocopies, there's always some degradation. If it's done with the right attitude, it's not even necessarily a bad thing to do if it's to the glory of God. But the AI that we make is one way we image ourselves, but so is our hand painted portraits. So is a story that we tell that captures some essence of humanity. So I think we should recognize, as you say, and remember that it is only an image of us. But we don't need to fear it as a completely cataclysmic, a difference in type. It's just the new expression of humanity that's coming onto the scene.
That's right. Much more fair. I will need your optimism in these years to come. Luke Avery, YouTube channel is Lambda Bible Studies. I hope we can talk again, sir.
Great. Thank you very much.
Hey, thanks for watching that clip. That was from our special Age of AI. We talk about ChatGPT and what that means for our future. Do you know all about ChatGPT? The more I think about it, the more to a dystopian place I go real fast. We also have a podcast. It's called Politics by Faith. And one of the themes of the podcast is there's nothing new under the sun. And you think, well, artificial intelligence, that's pretty new, Slater. It's really not. It's all been done before. How can that be? That's what we break down in the podcast. Because when you know something's been done before and you get that historical perspective with some biblical piece, all that anxiety washes right away. And it's a wonderful thing. Please download that podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts called Politics by Faith. We'll see you there.